Many of the residents of Southern California might remember that from November 14th, 2006 to March 4th, 2007, Getty Museum hosted an exhibition named Holy Image, Hallowed Ground, Icons from Sinai. This exhibition was organized by Getty Museum in partnership with the Holy Monastery of Mount Sinai, or the Holy Monastery of St. Catherine at Mount Sinai, and the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Egypt. This exhibition attracted myriads of Americans and international visitors to see and appreciate this treasury, which is the result of the monastic life in Sinai Desert. This exhibition provided unique insight into the monastic life, past and the present, at the remote historic monastery where John Climacus lived his spiritual life and wrote his famous book, The Ladder of Divine Ascent. On the fourth Sunday of the Great Lent, we make remembrance of Saint John Climacus, who began his spiritual journey at young age in Mount Sinai, where he cured the sickness in his very being and built an uninterrupted relationship with God. In his spiritual journey, he was able to nourish his soul with virtues as he was fed by the grace of God, soaring aloft in his purity and virtues. This celebration arose from the custom that is prevalent in the monastery of starting the Great Lent with the reading of his lessons, where John describes the method of elevating the soul to God as ascending a ladder. The main contents in this book could be summarized as follows. First, breaking with the word through renunciation, detachment, exile, or pilgrimage. Second is the active life by the practice of virtues. And third, struggle against non-physical passions. And fourth, struggle against physical passions. And fifth, acquiring higher virtues through active life. And sixth, contemplation or union with God. In this book, John expressed his personal experience of ascending from earth to heaven. He climbed step by step this ladder that extends from earth to the peak of paradise, from passion to dispassion, defeating his pride and vain glory by developing stillness of both soul and body. He was, by God's grace, cured of vain glory and pride. This ascent is in reality a reorientation of man's true relationship with God through acquiring virtues such as humility, gentleness, patience, kindness, goodness, compassion, truthfulness, the love for Christ, the confession of Christ. His teaching is applicable for all Christians, both monastics and those who live their faith in their parishes because they face the same struggle. The devil battles both of them, making them, as he states, quote, dry and barren, sluggish in prayer, drowsy and confused by spiritual darkness, unquote. Although there are two ways of Christian life, either in the monasteries or in the parishes. However, union with God is the shared goal. The difference is only in the mechanics. All Christians are called by vocation to be like Christ and to work toward theosis. This goal is achieved through watchfulness and through understanding the state of one's soul, which leads to a realization of his sinfulness. The eye of the mind keeps a bold and strict watch for demons and passions, but chiefly searching within to see how far a person is from God. This awakens in the soul a longing for helping that comes from Christ himself. John's advice for us is to keep watch and to be vigilant at all times, especially when wild beasts creep around us. Watchfulness has its aim to find what is distancing us from God himself. In his book, John teaches all believers how to detect and fight passions, how to vanquish them, and how to rise to the heights of God. If we remove the causes of sickness, health will come to us. Health is regained through self-control and temperance. For him, temperance is the mother of health, which leads to a real and true relationship with God and with our neighbor. While vanquishing our passions, we are always in danger of falling and lapsing into sin. It is the property of man to fall, he said, and to rise again as often as this might happen. But he states that it is the property of the devils, and devils alone, not to rise once they have fallen. This spiritual journey of falling and rising takes place under the supervision of a spiritual director who is a shepherd of the rational sheep, suitably fed by guilelessness, zeal, and prayer. Every ship will encounter shipwreck will not encounter shipwreck with a skilled pilot. The pilot of our souls receives strength from God and from his own toil to keep our ship sailing in the ocean of this life. On this Sunday, we are asked to read John's letter of divine ascent and to meditate his spirituality as he was able to provide us with the proper medicine to treat our sicknesses. Therapy, however, is not a human but a divine task. The cure of man does not take place by mere human means, but by the grace of God Himself. We are asked to seek out today our cure as described and presented by John of Sinai. And through your meditation, you will become acquainted with the monastic and hesychastic tradition of Mount Sinai, which offers us the fullness of Christian life. The lack of this tradition in our culture and the dominance of humanistic secularism created major difficulties. Therefore, we are in dire need of a teacher who will nourish his students with noetic knowledge to free them from the mastery of passions and to teach them how to climb on the ladder of divine ascent to reach theosis and receive the uncreated energy of God. A brief exhortation summarizing all that has been said at length in his book, as he states, I'll quote, "Ascend, brethren, ascend eagerly, and be resolved in your hearts to ascend and hear him who says, Come, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of our God, who makes our feet like hinds' feet and sets us on high places, that we may be victorious with his song. Run, I beseech you, with him who said, Let us hasten until we attain to the unity of faith and to the knowledge of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, who, when he was baptized in the 30th of his visible age, attained the 30th step in the spiritual ladder. Since God is indeed love, to whom be praise, dominion, power, in whom is and was and will be the cause of all goodness throughout infinite ages. Amen.